The auditorium was packed. 500 students, teachers, and parents, all watching as Chloe Bennett stood frozen on that stage, microphone in her hand, tears burning her eyes, while the crowd laughed. Not politely, not quietly. They laughed loud and mean, the kind of laughter that cuts straight through a person and leaves a mark that never fully heals. Hey everyone, I'm Faith, and today I want to tell you the story of Chloe Bennett, a 15-year-old girl who walked onto a school stage expecting her one big moment and instead found herself completely alone in front of everyone she knew. Chloe wasn't the most popular girl at Jefferson High. She was quiet, a little awkward, and spent most of her lunches in the library reading. But she had one gift, her voice. She could sing in a way that made people stop whatever they were doing and just listen. So when the annual talent show came around, her music teacher, Mrs. Aldridge, convinced her to sign up. "Chloe," she told her, "the world needs to hear you." And for the first time in a long time, Chloe believed it. But if you've ever been 15 and brave enough to try something that scares you, then you already know not every stage is a safe place to stand. Before we go any further, if stories like this move you, hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss one. And I want to ask you something in the comments. Have you ever been brave enough to try something, even when you were terrified? Tell me below. The night of the talent show, Chloe wore her favorite blue dress. Her hands were shaking as she walked out under those bright lights. She found the microphone, closed her eyes, took one deep breath, and then the backing track skipped. It glitched, stuttered, and cut out completely. The auditorium went silent for one awkward second. Then someone in the back laughed. Then the whole room seemed to ripple with it, that cruel wave of noise that every shy kid's nightmare is made of. Chloe stood there, completely exposed, unable to move, unable to speak, her dream crumbling right in front of 500 people. Principal Dawson started walking toward the stage, unsure what to do. And that's when the side door of the auditorium opened. Nobody noticed at first, but then the murmuring started, because walking calmly down the center aisle in his full Navy SEAL dress uniform was Senior Chief Travis Holt, and beside him, moving with quiet, powerful grace on a leather leash, was Blaze, his enormous, amber-eyed German shepherd. The laughter died, just like that. The whole room shifted. Travis didn't rush. He walked straight to the front, climbed the 2 steps onto the stage, and stood beside Chloe. He didn't grab the microphone. He just looked out at the crowd with the kind of steady, unshakable calm that only comes from a man who has faced things far worse than an awkward auditorium. Blaze sat perfectly still at his left side, scanning the room with those sharp, intelligent eyes. Then Travis leaned gently toward Chloe and said just loud enough for the front rows to hear, "You don't need that track. Sing it without it. I'll be right here." Chloe looked up at him. Her chin was still trembling, but something in his eyes, that absolute quiet certainty, reached her in a place that the laughter hadn't managed to break. She turned back to the microphone, and she sang. No music, no backing track, just her voice, raw and real, and trembling at first, then growing steadier with every line, filling that auditorium from the floor all the way to the rafters. By the second verse, the room was completely silent, the good kind this time. By the end, people were on their feet. Travis Holt was Chloe's uncle. He had driven 4 hours that evening because her mother had called him that afternoon, worried about how nervous Chloe was. He hadn't planned to go on stage. He had only planned to sit in the back and cheer. But when he saw that crowd laughing at his niece, he didn't hesitate for a single second. After the show, a reporter asked him why he walked up there. Travis looked over at Chloe, who was surrounded by classmates now, the same ones who had laughed, and he said simply, "In the SEAL teams, we have a saying, nobody gets left behind, not on a battlefield, not on a stage, not anywhere." Here is what I want you to take from Chloe's story. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Chloe was terrified. Travis knew that, but he also knew that the bravest thing a person can do is stand back up, especially when the crowd is laughing. And sometimes, all it takes is one person standing beside you to remind you that you are not alone. So, here's my question for you today. Has anyone ever shown up for you at exactly the right moment? The way Travis showed up for Chloe? Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story touched your heart, please subscribe, because every week I bring you real stories about